You're welcome back to the Gavel. We'll continue with the public hearing on the killing of a core member in Pt.2 by a policeman in Abuja.
In this particular instance, I'm not happy with the way the police handled the human relationship with the deceased. The police killed this promising young woman. Because the statement now that the CP said he tried, not him, I mean the police, when I say now I'm talking about the police tried to communicate the family. It's not acceptable, and it's not an excuse. Since a member of the family wrote a statement, every statement form contained a phone number. There's no way they would have written a statement without putting a phone number on that statement form that was written. There should have been more. I'm saying this because of the future.
The committee listened to the testimony of the colleagues of the deceased who were with her on the night she was killed.
We're driving down, we exited Amadu Bello Way, driving onto Sedi Plaza, CBN Road, and on taking the turn right after Sedi Plaza, we had two loud noises. Now, Toby was the one driving, and I remember looking at him, and he was holding the steering with both hands, thinking, this is not the tire, my car is still in control. And Angela came down from the device and tapped him, saying, Toby, I've been shot. And he didn't believe in, and he was like, what's wrong with you, bro? And she said, Toby, I have been shot. And she took up her dress to show where she felt the pain. And immediately we saw blood. He asked me, because I live close by, he asked me, where's the nearest hospital? And I told him, Area 3, Gariki Hospital. And we drove straight down to the hospital. We got down from the car at the emergency. We screamed for help. There were two policemen posted at the hospital, and the nurses came out with the stretcher. We helped take her off the stretcher, off the car, onto the stretcher, and she was taken in, where the nurses told us to register Angela, which we did. It took us about 10 minutes to do that, and we came back, and she asked if any of us was her family member, and we said, no, we're just colleagues from work. And she said we should try and contact the family member, and we also need to deposit a minimum of 50,000 naira before anything could be done for Angela. Angela's phone was passworded. Toby, who's more closer to the family, who also knows Cynthia Igwetu, did not have a number. We tried contacting her closest friends. We were unable to. Shortly after, some policemen arrived and said there was a case of kidnap, and they restricted our movement and also collected my ID card, because I showed my ID card and Angela's ID card saying we all worked together and we just got off work. We were also trying to see how we could contact Cynthia Igwetu, and I told the policemen that I had seen that if they could send someone alongside Toby to Angela's house to notify Cynthia of what happened. They refused until the DPO came, Madam Garba, and on narrating what had happened, she told the nurses to please commence with the treatment, that she would be paying for the treatment. And they also said they needed a test tube to drain out the blood from Angela, and a bowl and pints of blood, which the DPO said she will be giving them money to buy, because they said they didn't have it at their hospital. Now, the DPO was successful in paying some amount of money, and also she ordered the officers to go and get the test tube and pints of blood. Unfortunately, she was only able to get 2 pints of blood and the test tube. And this was sometime around 5:30.
The sister to the deceased is overcome with emotion. A committee member asserts that Gariki Hospital did not give the victim prompt attention.
Gunshot patients or victims should be treated in any hospital. But from what is being said here, it's very clear that Angela was not given prompt attention. And maybe if that had happened, maybe today Angela would have been here to tell her own side of the story.
But the medical director says the hospital did all they could to save the victim and she was never denied care.
Her pupils were dilated and not reacting to light. What this meant was that she was short of saying brain dead at the time she came. Sadly, she was certified dead at 6:10 a.m., despite the heroic attempt of doctors and nurses at Garki Hospital to save her life within available human and material resources. The CCTV footage will show you activities that took place while this lady was being cared for in Garki Hospital. In addition to the CCTV footages, we also have the medical records that clearly document the care for the late Angela. It is imperative for us to state that she was never denied care, even for 1 second, for any reason. It is instructive to note that the bills for her care were only paid more than 3 hours after she had passed on. And there was no deposits for her treatments made at all throughout the period she was in the hospital before she died.
A back and forth ensued between a member of the committee and the representatives of Gariki Hospital on the level of care given to the victim.
In the presentation of the CP and CSP Dachaba, they said the DPO came and then ordered that you commence treatment. I heard that clearly. You will have to, in your presentation, controvert that fact. If she was there to say start treatment, the implication is that there was no treatment before she came.
It is in chest injuries, yes. We use chest tube to drain blood from the chest. However, we have chest tubes in the hospital.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I asked you objective question, you are answering theory.
No, sir.
Very simple. I said, how important is this chest tube and underwater seal in the management of emergency situations or medicine?
The chest tube is meant to drain blood from the chest if there's collection there.
I know.
Yes.
It's implied.
Yes, sir.
I asked, how important is it? You are not in charge of emergency.
It is part of the measures used in chest injuries, and it's very important.
You don't have it.
We have chest tubes.
Whose negligence? My own.
So, no, sir. What?
You are just putting yourself into more trouble. Note that they did not know that it is that have expired. They didn't.
So it is the reason why we didn't use, and why we are making effort to source.
You have answered my question. It is important you do not have it as at the time you needed it. And that is an emergency situation, and the hospital does not have those two. Whether you have it is expired means you don't have it. Then, paragraph 33. Doctor, I want you to adopt this statement or otherwise. That the police DPO returned with only the chest tube, and I and my colleagues from the surgical team had to browse the internet on how to improvise an underwater seal. Is this statement correctly from you or not?
It's correct, sir.
Correct. Oga Medical Director, that in an emergency situation, your hospital did not know what to do. In an emergency situation, we had to wait and go and look for computer and possibly depend on network to browse, then to see if there are alternative. Maybe that was not part of what you were taught in your medical school. So they had to go to the internet to seek for alternative means. If the internet was not effective for 1 hour, they will have to wait for internet to be okay because they are depending on browsing to get additional knowledge on how to handle that situation. What do you have to say?
I would think there's no doubt about it, there was some logistic problems in getting a chest tube for this patient at the time she needed it. But now in our country, there have been different ways people have actually improvised to use things.
The committee is expected to continue with the investigative hearing when the National Assembly resumes plenary in September. Now, this is where we draw the curtains on this week's edition of The Gavel. If you have any views on what we've discussed today, please email us on thegavel@channelstv.com. Thank you for staying with us and see you again next week.